it up. It's the Record Machine with your host, Jimi Holl.
I said from the start, I won't lose my heart again.
You were so kind at a time when I needed a friend.
Somewhere the friendship ended and love began. You're the reason I'm back in love again.
You turned on the charm, twisted my arm with love.
You were the girl from a world I've been dreaming of. Baby, there's something you gotta understand. You're the reason I'm back in love again. Back in love again. Saying things I never thought I'd say again. You gave me a feeling I hope will never end. You're the reason I'm back in love again. This time around, we found love to last.
I won't be afraid of mistakes I've made in the past.
Baby, you made me feel like a brand new man. You're the reason I'm back in love again. Back in love again. Saying things I never thought I'd say again. You gave me a feeling I hope will never end. You're the reason I'm back in love again. You gave me a feeling I hope will never end. You're the reason I'm back in love again.
You're the reason.
You're the reason.
You're the reason I'm
Back in love again.
Ladies and gentlemen, country singer-songwriter Richard Lynch is on the program.
Hi, Jim. This is Richard Lynch. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's going on there you're in Ohio, right?
Yeah, southwestern Ohio, just about 30 miles north of Cincinnati.
Oh, wow, nice.
Where are you located, sir?
I'm in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Yes, sir.
How's the music scene in Ohio?
Wow. I mean, we are proof positive that traditional country music is an absolute necessity. People are really clamoring and hungry for that traditional country music sound out there, and so we stay busy as can be. We don't play just in Ohio, but we work a lot in the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana area. As a matter of fact, next week we're going to do a 4-state radio tour: Missouri, Texas, Alabama, and Tennessee. I'm just tickled to death that I get to do what I love to do and actually make a little money at it. So I'm a pretty lucky guy.
Well, you're quite good at it. I got a promo copy of the new album Mending Fences, man. That thing is awesome.
Oh, well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that.
I've been cranking that baby out in my truck every day on the way to work. You sold me, brother. You sold me.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Jim. Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about that record?
Man, the Mending Fences album is a testimony to the fact that I love traditional country music, and I was raised on an old farm where my dad was a country music singer, entertainer, so I grew up listening to that kind of, country music. And, the very first song on that album is Daddy's Words. And, I mentioned my dad was a great singer, entertainer. I knew at a young age that that's something that I wanted to do. And with the fact that I'm writing and adding my own little lyrics and my own little feelings and all the different emotions of country music. I learned that because of my dad. Mm-hmm. And, the country music today is great music. I don't want to be misunderstood, but I think there's a need for that traditional sound. And when I got in that studio, and some of the most incredible musicians in the world, and that sounds maybe far-fetched, but literally some of the most incredible country musicians in the world was on that session with me. And I realized right in that session that, man, I got to step my game up because these guys are phenomenal.
Nice.
But when I got in the studio, I realized something. These studio musicians are clamoring and wanting to play that traditional sound, and they're all thanking me for keeping and trying to preserve that traditional sound. That's kind of, it's not on the mainstream by any means, but it's kind of going away. But the interest in the music is not going away. They just need to find somehow to keep folks aware that there are artists out there doing that sound still. But the fact that I'm in that studio and the musicians are telling me how much they love that music, that really holds water with me. I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, when I listen to the CD, it totally brings me back to like you said, the traditional sound, the kind of the outlaw kind of sound, and classic country.
Right.
That's what I love about it.
People say things like, when they hear my music that, they make references to people. Everybody has their own opinion, of course, but people say things like, it kind of has a George Strait flavor, a Conway Twitty flavor, a Waylon Jennings flavor, and that makes sense because those guys are, of my era, I was influenced so much by them guys growing up, and still am today. And I'm excited that there's people out there still doing this music. I know another friend of mine that's playing traditional country music, and he's in the Florida area. Mm-hmm. R.D. Rodriguez, great entertainer, great singer, and he's sharing the same thing. So it's not just me. It's not just a fluke. There is a genuine need for that traditional sound.
Can't beat it. It's classic. I love it.
Right. Absolutely.
What was it like working with Rhonda?
My goodness. Rhonda Vincent is probably, well, I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't think there's anybody, a female singer, that's any better than Rhonda Vincent in any genre. Her vocal ability is phenomenal. The fact that she can keep traditional bluegrass and then turn right around and do a country song, mm-hmm. And she's recorded duets with the likes of Gene Watson and some of the biggest traditional country artists on earth, and then to be in the studio with this lady who I am a huge fan of, that was something that I'll never forget. The fact that I got to do a show recently with Rhonda, and we did our duet together live about a month or so ago. That was a huge thrill for me. And, she is one of us. She's just down home. She doesn't put on any airs. She don't try to act like she's a star. As a matter of fact, I heard her telling somebody during a radio interview we were doing before the show, she said in her own words, well, I'm not a star. I just play my music. And I thought to myself, no, this is one classy lady right here. You know, the ego problem she does not have. And so I'm tickled to death to call her my friend.
Yeah, I love that song. You know, the people that are listening out there who haven't heard the album yet, it's called Back in Love Again with, you know, Rhonda doing the duet with you. What a beautiful song, man. I mean, the vocals on, you know, both parts, yours and hers, are phenomenal.
Thank you. I've had people say things in regards to that song, and you know, people like to make comparisons, and I appreciate that when they make a comparison. But I've heard people say something, well, you know, that sounds like a song that Kenny Rogers and Dottie West could have done together, and that tickles me to death when I hear that kind of thing.
Well, to me, I would agree with them. I mean, it's a gem. When I was listening to it in the truck, I was like snapping my fingers. I'm like, wow, this is one catchy number. I love it.
Well, thank you. It was a lot of fun to be in the studio with Rhonda. You know, I'm always writing songs and listening for those little catchy hooks that sometimes people say, or you know, I think of once in a while. But I find myself being really attentive to people's conversations, because they'll say things every now and then that are really clever, and they don't even know they're saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we're all guilty of that. And I'm in the process right now of writing another duet together that I'm hoping Rhonda and I can get back in the studio again. And so, you know, it's really a lot of gratification at this point in time to be able to record and to travel and to play music with my heroes. You know, these guys have been my heroes forever, and you know, I'm very fortunate. I know that, but it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of time. You know, I'm a farmer. I own a farm in southwestern Ohio, and if you own a farm, nobody's going to farm that for you. So, you know, but it just goes to show you that if you pay your dues and you have a dedication and direction in life, pursue it, and the next thing you know, you're following and you're living your dreams.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Can you talk to us about the song you did with Ronnie, Love Tattoo?
Ronnie McDowell?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate you asking about that song. That's a song that I co-wrote with some friends, and Ronnie McDowell, I've always loved his music, always loved the fact that he's such a animated entertainer. You go to one of Ronnie McDowell's shows, I mean, he will thoroughly entertain you. I always loved his music. But then I got to do a show with Ronnie, and then I got to do a second show with Ronnie, and I realized this guy is genuine. He's as real as the stars above. And I got to talking with him, got to know him a little bit, and I found out that Ronnie did 3 tours of duty in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, wow, this guy is a class act, and he's a patriot. He loves our country. He loves everything about this nation. Man, what's not to love about Ronnie McDowell?
Mm-hmm.
So during our show together, after the show was over, I said, Ronnie, I have this song that I have co-written. It's a tribute to the military men and women called Love Tattoo. I was wondering if you just listen to it, and if you like it, would you consider doing it with me as a duet? He played the song, and ultimately, within just a short amount of time, he got back a hold of my manager and said, hey, I want to get in the studio with Richard. I want to record this song. So that being said, the stage was set. We get in the studio, and Ronnie McDowell, bless his heart, he got in there, and he had just came from visiting his daughter in the hospital. So he was kind of not all there 100% as far as his mindset. He was concerned. He gets in the studio, he puts on his headset, and the next thing you know, this magical Ronnie McDowell voice that we all know and love is on this same session with little old Richard Lynch. So the music was incredible. The outcome of that song was incredible. What a great outcome of that song. And the best part about it was we dedicated all the proceeds of the sale of that song to an organization in Michigan called the Whirlwind Lodge, and it helps. There's a place for our men and women of the military to go up there and get a little R&R.
That's awesome.
So all the proceeds goes to the place called the Whirlwind Lodge, And Ronnie and I both agreed that that's something we need to do to help our veterans. And, you know, it's just a little thing that we do that we felt we just, you know, we did a little part to help them. But as far as I am concerned, and I'm speaking for Ronnie too, we can't do enough to help our men and women who have done so much for our country.
That's awesome that, you know, you guys did that. Is that what with the military? Is that what inspired you to do the song "We're American Proud" as well?
Well, yes and no. I have a huge respect for our country. I did not serve our nation, but my grandpa did, my dad did, my brother did. I did not. But I've always had the most respect that anybody could possibly have, and I mean that in the most sincere way. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was talking about how much he loves to listen to a particular radio station that's in our Cincinnati area, especially at night, because they pay tribute to a lot of truck drivers, and they make mention of how they appreciate men and women of the military and other things. And I'm listening to this conversation, and I listened to the show one night, and I thought, man, this is really cool. This guy is proud as can be to be an American. And without any time at all, I grabbed a pen and paper, and I'm thinking, man, we are American proud. So the song kind of came from that direction, hearing a radio show and hearing my buddy talk about truck drivers and men and women of the military, and I kind of ad-libbed and created the other feel, you know, of the lyrics as we went. But basically, the idea was inspired from a friend at a radio station that I was listening.
Is that the same person that inspired "Pray on the Radio"?
No. This song, I wrote "Pray on the Radio." That's probably, well, I can't think of any other situation that I've ever been in where I was inspired. I was driving down the interstate, me and my wife, and we were doing a radio tour at that time, and I was 10 minutes away from being able to pull off the interstate and actually do the radio interview on the radio, on the phone, I should say, for the radio.
Okay.
And the phone rings, and the gentleman at that time was playing "We're American Proud." And he was telling me how much he loved the song, how much he really appreciated the fact that we did traditional music. And he said something like, you know, you're on the road an awful lot. I think the Lord must be with you. And I thought, well, thank you so much. And next thing he said, Richard, do you mind if we pray on the radio?
Wow.
And I got goosebumps coming up on my back, my arms. I was completely blown away with that statement. And I've done lots and lots and lots of interviews, but that had never been asked of me before.
Wow.
And it just so happened to be a pad of paper laying between me and my wife, on the seat of the truck. And I looked in the dash, and there's a pen. So I got the phone in my left hand. I'm trying to steer down the interstate and write what I'm hearing on this pad of paper on the front seat.
Wow.
My wife sees what I'm doing. She grabs a pad of paper and pen, and she starts writing down exactly what I'm saying. So that song came to me driving down the interstate 70 miles an hour with an actual, literal conversation with a radio disc jockey.
That's amazing. That is truly amazing. It was meant to happen.
It really was. And people ask me, Richard said, well, how did you get that inspiration? How did you write that? And I tell them exactly. All I can tell you is I held the pen, or my wife held the pen, and the words came somewhere from above. I mean, it was just an absolute inspiration with the man above. That's all I can tell you.
That's amazing. And now, are you a religious guy overall, or?
I believe in the Lord.
Uh-huh.
But to tell you that I am a religious card-carrying individual,
Uh-huh.
I'm not. I wish, in some ways I feel guilty by saying that, because I know a lot of folks that are, and I probably should be.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, I know the man's real. I know the Lord is real. I know the fact that there is a higher power. I know the fact that I am given this opportunity basically by His graces. So you will never hear anything but praises for the Lord for me. And even though I'm not as religious as maybe I should be, I know for a fact he's there and he's real, and he's taking care of me and my family, and he's created these opportunities for me that I probably would never have had.
Absolutely. I mean, I think things happen in our life for a reason.
I do believe that.
Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not so good, but they happen. There's a man up there. We may not always read the Bible every day and stuff like that, but we do believe in him, and we know he's watching over us. And these are the reasons things are happening.
You know, I think about that from time to time, and you know, when you're in a situation where, well, like the song was written, basically in a pickup truck driving 70 miles an hour, you can't plan that. You can't say, I'm going to do this. So for anybody to doubt or anybody to question that belief out there, I think they're doing themselves a great disservice, because, you know, the outcome of that song has been so powerful and so overwhelming. I get asked every day to 2, 3, sometimes 4 interviews a day on that song only. And then from that point, people hear that music, and then they get to investigating and learning more about Richard Lynch. Mm-hmm. And therefore, that song has been a blessing that I could never have anticipated.
It's a great song, too. I love it. I mean, I've been listening to all your singles and the new album, and I just love it, man. You sold me. I'm a fan now.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that, buddy.
Well, I appreciate you putting out this great music, you know. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. When I was younger, I wasn't really much into country music. I was more into, you know, the rock and stuff. But as I got older, you know, I started, you know, listening to a little Kenny Rogers, Fred Noblock, Conway Twitty, Waylon Jennings, and then I started getting into it, and then I was buying all these albums for my record collection. And that's who you remind me of. When I heard this music, I'm like, wow, this guy is phenomenal. I love his voice. He has that classic sound.
Well, thank you, Jim. You know, all those artists you just mentioned are my heroes. Those guys I grew up listening to, you know, Conway and Merle Haggard and George Jones. And believe it or not, I actually got to do a show with a guy by the name of Keith Whitley, who was my biggest hero of all time. Mm-hmm. And I you know, when I think back about all the things that I have been so lucky to have done in my life, the fact that I got to play with Keith Whitley ranks up there with probably one of the biggest things I've ever done. And, you know, he was such an inspiration on me, and still is to this day. I love his music. As a matter of fact, I wrote a song the other day, and I mentioned Keith Whitley in the song. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, you know, I just love the fact that I love the fact that there's such a need, and I mentioned this earlier, such a need for traditional country music, but I love the fact that people are open arms welcoming the fact that I keep my sound traditional.
Yep. I mean, you got to stay true to yourself.
Yeah, I can't be anything other than what I am. You know, I put my music out there, I put my heart and soul into it, and if people connect and relate with what I've done, I consider that a huge success. So, but I can't be anything other than what I am. As an old country boy, loves traditional music.
You also co-host a radio show too, is that correct?
I do, and it's called Traditionally Lynch.
Uh-huh.
We do a radio show every Saturday morning, and we invite guests that's been, you know, in and around the music industry for years and years and years, and we also invite guests that are just now starting to make their little waves in music. So, but the key to these folks that I deal with have one thing in common. Mm-hmm. They love their music traditional. And I always keep those folks on the front burner as to when they're welcome and on my show. And I actually have a television show now that airs every Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. Out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and also there's a national network that just picked up my TV show called Traditionally Lynch. The Farm and Ranch Network has just picked it up, and now they're airing it, all my segments and all my TV shows on that network as well. So, yeah, I'm amazed how many opportunities are coming my way, and the interest out there that people are following my music right now. I'm absolutely amazed. I'm so flattered that I get to do this.
Now, if someone wants to listen to that program on the radio or the internet, how would they go about doing that?
Well, the best way is just to go to my website. It's Richard Lynch, Lynch, richardlynchband.com, and you can see the Traditionally Lynch radio show, the Traditionally Lynch TV show. You can see all the places we're playing around the country, our merchandise. You can see all our interviews. You can see some of the awards and different things that's coming our way. It's really amazing. And I just say this because I'm humble, and I always want to be humble. My dad was just an old country boy. He never knew a stranger, so I got a lot of this from my dad. But when you hear somebody, and I hear somebody ask me, hey, can I take a picture with you? Can I do this with you? Can I do that with you? They spend their money to come see us play. Mm-hmm. I'm so thankful because they can go see anybody, and yet they choose to come see me and my music. So I'm humbled, and I'm appreciative of the fact that I can be around people who love my music.
That's awesome. Now, if someone wants to be on your show, how do they go about doing that?
Basically, just go to richardlynchband.com. Reach out to my manager. We have a manager, Mr. Randy Hayford.
Okay. Out of
Nashville, Tennessee. The name of his company is Twang Thang Productions. TWANG, Twang Thang, THANG. And he is our exclusive manager. He will reach back out to the folks that asked him to contact him. He will, therefore have some conversation with you folks and the folks that's asking to be on our shows and do things with us. But that's basically the best way how to get a hold of folks, and just reach out to Randy Hayford from Twang Thang Promotions.
Wow, that sounds great. Richard, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. I really appreciate you coming on, and I think it's a great CD. It's called Mending Fences, and anybody who wants to buy your music and see where you're playing next and watch your TV show and radio show, they can go to richardlynchband.com. Is that correct?
That's exactly right, Jim.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, buddy, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Jim, thank you, and I want to say to you and all your listeners, I appreciate the opportunity, and if you ever have a hankering for an old country boy to come back on, you reach out anytime. We'd love to be there.
Yes, sir, man. You, like I said, you sold me. I'm a fan now.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I've been writing my songs and telling my stories. I finally got my songs played on the radio. I've been doing interviews around the country, and then one day a DJ asked me, can I pray with you? He said, do you mind if we pray on the radio? Do you mind we talk about the Lord? I truly believe that God's watching over you. You know there's no better company than Jesus while you're out on the road. I told the DJ right then I'd be more than happy to share my thoughts and inspirations about my songs. I'm thankful God likes my music enough to ride with me. So if you're hearing my country music, then know that Jesus tags along. Do you mind if we pray on the radio? the Lord. I truly believe that God's watching over you. You know there's no better company than Jesus while you're out on the road. I know there's no better company than Jesus